February the 12th, 2009. Just outside Buffalo, New York.
Gear down. Folks alive.
Gears down.
Jesus Christ!
On February 12, 2009, Colgan Air DHC8-400 crashed during night ILS approach to Buffalo-Niagara Airport. The aircraft was on a scheduled regional domestic passenger flight from Newark to Buffalo-Niagara. The aircraft was completely destroyed by ground impact and subsequent fire, killing all 49 occupants and one person on ground. The investigation by NTSB determined that the probable cause of the accident was the captain's inappropriate response to the activation of the stick shaker. It led to an aerodynamic stall, followed by complete loss of control from which the airplane could not recover. The investigation also identified 4 contributory factors: the flight crew's failure to monitor airspeed in relation to the rising position of the low-speed queue, the flight crew's failure to adhere to sterile cockpit procedures, the captain's failure to effectively manage the flight, and Colgan Air's inadequate procedures for airspeed selection and management during approaches in icing conditions. The investigation also identified issues related to safety culture of the organization. First was fatigue and crew management. It was identified that both pilots were severely fatigued. The captain had commuted overnight from Florida, and the first officer had traveled from Seattle before starting duty. This finding points to a culture that tolerated long commutes and insufficient rest, without robust fatigue risk management practices. Second was inadequate training and competency oversight. Investigators found that the captain had previously failed several check rides, yet these issues were not adequately flagged or addressed, indicating that the operational culture within the organization did not prioritize transparent reporting or corrective training. Next was lack of just culture and communication. The first officer expressed concern about icing during flight, but the crew's interactions reflected a breakdown in communication due to authority gradient, which is indicative of a weak safety culture, where open and effective crew communication and coordination was lacking. Lastly, organizational pressure and cost cutting. The regional airline business model, with its focus on cost efficiency, often resulted in operational pressure that compromised safety margins, implying that there was limited support for crew well-being and professional development, consequently undermining resilience at both the organizational and human levels. The Colgan Air Flight 3407 accident triggered widespread reforms in U.S. aviation, including stricter duty and rest requirements, enhanced pilot training standards, greater transparency in pilot records, a renewed emphasis on positive safety culture in human factors. Here one may ask, what is the major takeaway from this accident? In fact, this tragic accident illustrates how an unhealthy organizational culture, one that downplays fatigue, accepts poor communication, and neglects training, can erode both system and human resilience. In contrast, a positive safety culture fosters accountability, well-being, and preparedness, reducing the likelihood of such systemic breakdowns. To conclude, we can say that this accident reminds us that safety is not just built on rules and equipment, but on the values, behaviors, and care we embed in our everyday operations. Thanks for watching.